Greetings to all of you. This is Dr. Parishka Shresh, and today I'll be diving into the topic of offenses affecting life, which will include the culpable homicide. Now, culpable homicide, as the name suggests, culpable and homicide, it means that form of homicide which is unlawful, which is illegal, and also which is punishable under the eye of law, which means that the act has not been excused or the act has not been justified under the sanctions of law. The word culpable means that the act is punishable, it is wrong, and attachment of punishment is prescribed for that prohibited act. Culpable homicides are covered under Section 299 of the Indian Penal Code, and it means that when the act is done by any intention or any knowledge that the probability of causing death can be happened, so it will be considered as culpable homicide. Section 299 runs as follows, that whoever causes death by doing an act with the intention of causing death or with the intention of causing such bodily injury as is likely to cause death, or with the knowledge that he is likely by such an act to cause death, commits the offense of culpable homicides. Now, this definition under section 299 covers the part of intention as well as of knowledge. Also, the intention is of causing death, or in the second case, the intention is of causing that bodily injury which is likely to cause death. As far as the knowledge point goes on, the knowledge uh, reflects that the person is aware that by such a particular act the death may be caused. So if these conditions are fulfilled, we can say that the offense committed or the act committed is culpable homicide. Now the illustration of section 299 of the Indian Penal Code says that A lays a stick and turf over a pit with the intention of thereby causing death, or with the knowledge that the death is likely to be caused, thereby Z, believing the grounds to be firm, treads on it, falls in and is killed. A has committed the offense of culpable homicide. Now here in the illustration we can see that A is a person who, with the intention of causing death of Z, he lays down and covers the pit with some stakes and turfs, and so that Z, while crossing it, he can believe that it is a firm ground and he can move over it. And while he will do that, he will fall into the pit and will ultimately be killed. So here we can say that A is having an intention to cause death, and so he has committed the offense of culpable homicide. In the second illustration, A knows Z to be sitting or hiding behind a bush. B does not know it. A, intending to cause or knowing it to likely be to cause Z's death, induces B to fire at the bush. B fires and kills Z. Here B may be guilty of no offense, but A has committed the culpable homicide. Now in this illustration we can say that A is a person who is aware that Z is sitting or hiding behind a particular bush. He goes to B, who is not aware about this condition, and he causes B that he must fire at the bush. While he does so, A is having an intention that by such an act he is aware that Z is sitting there, and so he will be killed. He is having the intention to cause death of Z. And if B fires at the bush and kills Z, now B is not liable as he was not having any intention to kill Z, or he was not aware that Z was sitting there. And so we can say here that A has committed the offense of culpable homicide. The explanation 1 of the act relates that a person who causes bodily injury or to another who is laboring under a disorder, disease, or bodily infirmity and thereby accelerates the death of that other shall be deemed to have caused his death. This explanation relates that a person who hits someone or who causes any bodily harm, any bodily injury to another person who is laboring under a disorder or disease or bodily infirmity, and in such an act he accelerates the death of such a person. It will be held that the act is done by the offender itself, because obviously there are two things which needs to be understand here, that the liability of the offender arises in this case only if he is intending or he is knowing about such a condition of the victim. Explanation 2 says that where death is caused by bodily injury, the person who causes such bodily injury shall be deemed to have caused death, although by resorting to proper remedies and skillful treatment, the death might have been prevented. Now, the second explanation is very important, it suggests that where a person is killed by a bodily injury and such bodily injury are the sole reason of that person's dying. Now here the offender cannot plead that the bodily injury which the offender has given, they are the sole reason of the person dying, and while if he who would have taken some sort of better treatment, he would have been saved. This plea of the offender will not be entertained due to these explanations. It is enough if it is proved that the person died of the bodily injury given by such a person. Explanation 3 suggests that the causing of death of a child in mother's womb is not homicide, but it may amount to homicide to cause the death of a living child if any part of that child has been brought forth, though the child may not have breathed or been completely born. Expression 3 says that in cases where there is the death of a child in mother's womb, it may not amount to homicide, because we have many other provisions, many other sections regarding to this thing. But it may amount to a homicide if any part of that child has been brought forth out of the womb of such a mother. Here it is important to note that culpable homicide relates to an act where death is caused, and the way of causing death can be different in each of the cases, provided that it is important to note that where death has been caused, the degree of probability of causing death, if it is higher, then the amount committed will be murder, and if it is lower, the amount committed will be culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. The essential conditions of the ingredients of culpable homicide are causing death of a human being. The death caused must be by doing an act with the intention of causing death, or with a bodily injury, or if the person is aware or has the knowledge of it. Thank you so much.